So
And here's an interesting story or theory on this stuff. There's a race of very, very advanced beings called the Ptah. I think it's Ptah. Alex Collier is when I first heard about it in the 20 years ago. These advanced beings have come to this universe to help deal with shit. Extremely powerful. But in another way you look at it, if you could imagine a farmyard with some chickens and some horses, it's like, how powerful is that? You're creating life. You're creating a farmer and his wife and the dog, and you give them some consciousness. That's your consciousness, but you're putting it in there, and then you send them on their merry way, and you walk away from that and leave that construct there. You've just created life, bodies, an environment, a world. That's God creation. That's extremely powerful. That's the Ptah. But this universe was created in these similar ways. So this place has gotten out of hand, this universe. And the race of Ptah, the good guys, we won't say good and bad so much as they're into love and decency, compassion, and freedom and liberation and consciousness and evolution. These kinds of beings have come here. But again, we have to resolve this from the inside out. So we have to become to understand the issue that humanity is having. So a lot of you guys that watch this sort of stuff and look at Wes Penray stuff and these other characters out here talking way out here in left field, it's very likely that you are this kind of being yourself. And there's thousands and thousands of us on this planet right now. And we become targets. And we can be experiencing the kind of phenomena that Aguila's talking about, that I'm talking about here with the entity. They use entities, they use other life and consciousness to fight us, fight fire with fire, fight consciousness with consciousness, sort of thing. So that's one of the mechanisms or the strategies behind the entity approach to harassing powerful beings. So anyway, you were talking about the Dragon Queens. That was the last place.
yeah, and like, so we have a agreement or a deal, and they leave, and making sure they're not gonna mess with Earth, they're not gonna work on that sort of soul trap and stuff. They leave fully, and that's it. So come back to your thing, I guess off topic, but it is a question. So when that Ptah would create a construct with other beings and give them consciousness, do you think those beings will see him or her as higher self, lower self?
It can happen different ways, but if the Ptah are the being that created let's just say my little farm and everybody, if the farmer and the farmer, the husband and wife farmer team, they are the consciousness that is that which created them. Do they know this? And if they know it, they weren't created by a god. They are the god incarnate, and the dog too, and the cat, and the fish and little goldfish in the bowl. Yeah, it's known, unless now these constructs are these bodies within which consciousness is put into with the full knowing. As these bodies are these beings, they become beings. They are being the farmer and the farmer, Mr. and Mrs. Farmer, and the dog. They're being these things. Now, with full knowing, well, go through life in a world like a dimension, a density like this was very predatory, and life form eats life form, consumes it just to survive. In this physical density, if that's going on, you live here for a few million years, you're going to have some tragedy and some terrible things happen. Like you're going to experience physical pain, and you're going to not want to remember that, so you're going to blank it out. You're going to mind wipe yourself, amnesia, because you don't want to. That's too much, too many times, terrible pain and loss. So now, somewhere along the line, you're going to forget that you were the God, the creator God that put yourself in this position in the first place. That can happen. That did happen. And so that's where we are right now. And we are the God we think we aren't, if we don't think we are. Huh?
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Pretty good. So yeah, coming back to the whole like soul trap and stuff, I guess that's a wrap up, you know.
Yeah, so we gave a session today and we got all excited about it. We wanted to share,
Yeah.
document our journey, really.
And actually, the person like who was going through a lot of issues and stuff, and we did the session, like even during the session, he said like, you know, he's noticing some real big changes like in his body and stuff like that, like, you know, because trying to also like doing that sort of work is helping, and like it's amazing because like, you know, I get out of body and I learned a lot, and that's neat. But I'm always really excited when I get, you know, results, when I see some stuff happening, and it's like, it's not an event, it's a process, so it always takes time. But to see something happen like that so fast, it's like always amazing. So, yeah, just wanted to share that.
Yeah, he mentioned that he experienced some relief that he's never experienced before.
That's big.
Yeah, he was having some intense issues, entities, phenomenon, and energetic stuff with his back and things like that. And yeah, so that was a pretty good story. I think the takeaway from that story was that the seriousness of the issue going on planet Earth is way deeper and more complex than we can possibly imagine. And still we start digging in. Another takeaway is that as you learn more about what is going on with humans, the human experience, it gets ugly and it's harsh. The truth is difficult to confront. And it takes responsibility and, I guess, confront or courage. It's funny because I don't feel all that responsible or courageous.
You don't.
But for me, I just do this. People, I'm probably more fucked up than I think I am. Why is that funny? It's probably true. But yeah, the takeaway is there's a lot going on, but we can get through it, and I believe it's necessary for the human race. We're going through some profound changes, and there's some serious things going on Earth right now people need to know about. I haven't even talked about the remote viewing of the entities that are controlling leaders in our world.
Yeah, that's big.
It's big. It's credible information by responsible people that do this kind of spiritual work. And they're talking about some serious, heavy entity interference with leaders of humanity, the leadership of the human race, different places. Anyway, that's a different story, but it's the same subject. And there is something we can do about it. For each individual can learn and do things to protect themselves, or do things to release themselves, and do things to help awaken other people to the severity of the situation, this matrix or simulated reality, or whatever you want to call this driven planet Earth thing.
It's good. And I'll get back to one last thing, you know, like it's not like I'm studying a lot of like, oh yeah, I've read about the soul trap and stuff, and now I can like, you know, give a video. My main way of learning is getting out of body. I don't know a lot, but I get out of body. I experience that stuff. I talk to people like, you know, hey, look, I got out of body. I did this and this and this. And people like, yeah, I watched a video about this. I read the book about that. And like, I get like a little confirmation like, oh yeah, I'm not the only one. And with that, I sort of, I'm creating my belief system because what I experience, and then other people confirm it. And so like learning about this whole thing, like, you know, firsthand, it's amazing. And also like, you know, like, hey, I just feels good about taking out the huge structure. And I wonder like, you know, hopefully there's going to be more than one person who feels the effects of that, you know, because like it's not like I worked on just one, like, you know, the focus was one, but taking out those controllers of bunch, I hope that like a bunch of people in the world will feel the relief and stuff.
I think they will.
So
I do. I believe that. Yeah.
We'll see.
Well, okay. Hey, thanks for watching our stuff and being here with us on our journey as we document what we're doing and how it's going. And we will talk to you later, okay? And thank you for doing this session with me today.
You're welcome. It was fun.
Yeah. We did it together. The two of us worked together to help the client. So, yeah,
It's good.
it was great. I love it. Okay, bye now. Yeah, feedback, comments. We love the balance of. Okay, all right. Bye now. You take care of yourself.